It's one thing to do something so bad that you spend the night or a day in a jail cell. It's another thing to be banned from a country altogether. Now, it seems for the most part, those who are on this list are banned from countries due to their beliefs. Some more extreme than others. It's quite obvious that the countries who've implemented said bans genuinely don't want these kind of people around their citizens. Which, after doing some research, I mean, yeah, I don't really blame them. Others were caught doing things they probably shouldn't have been doing, which, well, we know how that goes. Today on InformOverload, we're coming at you with the top 10 influencers who are banned from a country. Smash that like button and let's get into it. Starting off at number 10, Logan Paul. Of course, I'm including him on this list, so I figured get the lowest hanging fruit out of the way to start, you know? Like, just say it and then we're all moving on kind of thing, you know? Now, some will argue he's a YouTuber, but prior to that, he was a Vine star, so he's also got a podcast, which, although is on YouTube, is also available on other platforms. And he's boxing Floyd Mayweather. Like, are you kidding me? One of the greatest of all time. YouTubers do not do that. I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. He's boxing Floyd Mayweather. That's next level. So which country is he banned from? Well, I think we all know. And although he's clearly moved on from his old antics, unfortunately, what has happened, and I'm not sure the country of Japan will ever be willing to forgive him for his actions. For those of you unaware, Logan had filmed and uploaded footage of a deceased man who had taken his own life while Logan was vlogging in a national park. Aside from this, he was also seen breaking a handful of laws, traffic violations, destruction of property, and interference with business operations, as well as plenty of others. Now, technically, he was never given an official ban from the country. There was a change.org petition for it, though, and it's believed the second he steps foot in their country, the authorities would arrest him. That's almost like the next best thing aside from a ban. It's not you can't come in. It's you can come in if you want, but the second you do, we'll arrest you. But I mean, it's your choice. Come in if you want. We're not stopping you. Number 9, Snoop Dogg. Sure, Snoop is a rapper, but he's become so much more than that. In pop culture, he's an icon for the Devil's Lettuce, and he's even an investor in Triller, which is apparently now putting on boxing matches. I don't know. Snoop has been able to stay relevant since he came into the spotlight in the 90s, something a lot of people haven't been able to do. That being said, his brand of always being high somewhat came back to bite him, as he is indefinitely banned from the country of Norway. Or so we thought. So back in 2012, on his way to perform at a music festival in Norway, Snoop was detained at the airport, searched, and caught with a few grams of the good. This unfortunately left him with a very large fine and an indefinite ban, which would then be turned into a 2-year ban. Although the ban has since been lifted, I don't think Snoop has any interest in going to countries which won't allow him to be, well, you know, him. At number 8, we got Brittany Pettibone. For those of you unaware, Brittany here is a very vocal political activist, YouTuber, and author whose beliefs to some are deemed very extreme. Back in 2018, she was banned along with 2 others on this list for trying to enter Britain. Pettibone, who is married to Martin Sellner, which we'll cover later on, clearly aligns with a lot of his beliefs, which you guys will see why it's an issue to some. Either way, at the time of their ban, an official who anonymously spoke with Reuters explained they were banned on the grounds that their, I quote, presence in the UK was not conducive to the public good. A friend of theirs, Lauren Southern, who they were actually planning to meet, was also turned away, and taking to Twitter explained she was, I quote, officially banned from UK for racism. Pettibone was also expected to interview Tommy Robinson, who was the former leader of a far-right group. On top of this, the 3 were expected to make a speech at a park in which authorities felt would incite, I quote, tensions between local communities. But more on those 2 in just a little bit. At number 7, we got Martha Stewart. In a league of her own, Martha truly did change the game. Although she's known for baking and cooking, it seems Martha got caught up with some legal troubles when she was caught being involved with insider trading. Selling a stock and avoiding a hefty loss the day before the stock would drop about 16%, it would be determined she knew something the public didn't, and after a highly publicized trial, would be sentenced to serve a 5-month prison term as well as a 5-month house arrest term. This was in 2004, but fast forward to 2008, and the UK is refusing her entry into the country because they felt her previous crime was quite a serious one. More specifically, lying to the government left an uneasy feeling in the authorities' gut, I guess, so they figured why even bother letting her in the first place. While trying to get her visa to give a speech and do some business, she was refused due to, I quote, serious criminal offenses abroad. Still, she kept it 100 and, she didn't snitch, so that's why her and Snoop Dogg had that baking show together. Is that still a show? I don't think it even is, but at one point they had a show together. Now at number 6, Leah C. One of the most recent to be banned from a country, C, who is originally from Russia, was recently deported, and as far as I'm concerned, when you're deported from a country, that usually comes with a ban. At least in most countries I know. Given how this happened just a week ago, it's unclear where the country of Bali stands with C, who was deported for painting on a surgical mask and pretending it was the real thing. Alongside US-based YouTuber Josh Paler-Lin, the two uploaded clips of them walking into a supermarket with Lin wearing a real mask and C with face paint on, if you will. After the clip caught the attention of local authorities, they were detained and after being tested for COVID-19, deported from the country, with a member of the government explaining, I quote, "Foreigners who don't respect the laws and regulations in Indonesia are facing deportation sanctions." At number 5, we got Martin Sellner, the husband of Brittany Pettibone, who came in at number 8. Sellner also got a ban from the UK for his extreme right views and beliefs. Although he was originally denied entry back in 2018 for the same reasons his wife was detained, he most recently received a ban back in June of 2019 to the United States. Authorities started investigating Sellner in regards to being linked to the Christchurch shooting. It's believed the shooter actually donated about $1,500 to Sellner's organization, which has led to him being banned from the UK indefinitely. As of now, it seems he had absolutely no connection with the incident, and he's denied any involvement. However, authorities still conducted a search on his properties, which would later be deemed illegal by a judge. Now at number 4, Paris Hilton. Bet you guys weren't expecting her on here. Back in 2010, she pled guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges in Las Vegas for being in possession of some booger sugar. You guys know, like the nose candy, the white powder. We're talking about coke and not the drink. She was given a year-long probation stemming from her charge, and a month after being given said sentence, she tried to go to Japan, which I'm surprised the United States didn't care and just said, like, leave the country if you want. But it seems Japan did. The country has a strict law in regards to allowing foreigners on probation into their country, and it seems Paris checked off all the boxes. After being detained at the airport for 6 hours, she was refused entry into the country and sent back to LA. Prior to boarding the plane home, she told reporters, I quote, "I'm going back home and I look forward to coming back to Japan in the future. I'm really tired," which I could totally see that being in an episode of The Simple Life. Some of you guys may remember the show with, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton. Maybe I'm just old now, I don't know, but I could so see Paris being like, I'm really tired. At number 3, we got Roosh V. Now this guy is known for having some crazy thoughts and beliefs. Much like others on this list, he's got extremely right-wing views, and it seems like the UK just ain't about that. Roosh V is the king of it all, accused of being anti-Semitic, a misogynist, and even promoting the idea of being able to force oneself upon another to be legal on private properties, although he claimed the latter was meant to be satirical. So if that gives you guys any indication of, this kind of guy, who he is, there's that. Roosh's views and beliefs have not only gotten him a ban from the UK, but at one point it seems he was almost banned from Canada as well. And I remember John Tory actually tweeting out that he does not want Roosh coming to Toronto when he was going to do like a tour, I think, in Toronto and Montreal. He wasn't allowed to come into the country. So coming to number 2, we got Lauren Southern. Like Sellner and Pettibone, Southern was also denied entry in the UK when she tried meeting them back in 2018. However, she's also been banned from Australia, who denied her a visa when she applied for one back in July of 2018. That would be sorted out after she would receive the correct visa and would go on a little tour. Southern, a Canadian, is known for having far-right beliefs, with some comparing her to white supremacists. Although Australia got sorted, she had to cancel her New Zealand tour. After having issues finding a venue to speak at, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said New Zealand is hostile to the views of the speakers, and I quote, "I think you'll see from the reaction they've had from New Zealanders that their views are not those that are shared by this country, and I'm quite proud of that." Although she never received a full ban, it was advised that she didn't come to the country, so I think that's kind of like a threatening ban. And in at number 1, we got Julien Blanc, an American pickup artist, apparently. This man was banned from the UK after he was being accused of promoting unwanted advances, I guess I'll say. It's believed his visa to enter the country was rejected, and a petition with over 150,000 signatures asking for him to be barred from the country clearly caught someone's attention. The same month, he was forced to cut short an Australian tour after protests led to his visa being cancelled. Scott Morrison, the Australian immigration minister, clearly understood the public's outrage, explaining, I quote, "This guy wasn't putting forward political ideas, he was putting forward that was derogatory to women and those values of our horde in this country." And that's all we got for the top 10 influencers who were banned from a country. Let us know your thoughts on this one down below. For now, let's do some comment replies from the video. Philip DeFranco defends Mr. Beast after toxic workplace accusations. Doof said, "If Philly D is defending Mr. Beast, then I'm gonna have to give him another chance." I mean, you can if you want. That's kind of what Taylor Lorenz was saying, though, is like all these big YouTubers with a lot of power defend each other to stay in power. So, I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say proven or point, but that's, I don't know. The ND said, "Let's see how Phil will talk about this in his show today. I know he didn't do a show yesterday, like the day after he didn't do a show. So maybe today, which is the day I'm recording this video, today's Friday, maybe he'll do a show today. I think he will." Geneva Hawkins said, "These 11 people won't survive in a corporate setting. It's 10 times worse." I think depends on the corporate setting, depends where you work to a certain extent. I mean, I don't think anyone ever deserves to be, called names, but Unfortunately, in business, it's like it's cutthroat. You want to make money, you can't be nice all the time. I know that's not a popular opinion, but like, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You got to be a shark in business sometimes, and you can't always be nice, unfortunately. Name calling, not appropriate. Calling somebody an effing idiot, sometimes they got to be told they're an idiot. Maybe that's a little rough, but that's just how I believe. I've been called an idiot before many times, and sometimes I deserve it. Anyways, guys, that's all for this one. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. We'll see you guys soon. Why did I do that? Now my camera might die on me. I think I'm good for this video. We'll find out.